Hi guys, and welcome to your A-level PE taster session. It's Mrs. Hunt here. Hope you're all keeping safe and well. Today I'm going to talk you through component 2, which is what I'll be teaching you next year. And that is psychological factors affecting performance in sport. So component 2 is made up of two key topic areas, sports psychology and skill acquisition. If you just take a few moments to start looking through the bullet points here, you might start to recognise some of the topics from your GCSE or BTEC sports in Year 11. Sports psychology, we're going to be looking more at the mind of the sports performer and how this might affect performance in sport. And skill acquisition is more involved with how we learn skills, how we develop movement skills, and then how we store them in our memory to draw upon in future performances. The assessment for component 2 is a written examination. It lasts for 1 hour and is taken at the end of year 13. This accounts for 20% of the total A-level grade and is made up of a combination of short answer questions with some extended answers towards the end of the paper. So hopefully you're able to click on the link to the Matthew Saeed video and get an introduction to sports psychology. Matthew Saeed is a sports psychologist, worked with lots of famous athletes, looking at how sports psychology can affect and impact on their performance. So we're going to take a topic now and we're going to first look at leadership. So I'm going to give you a few minutes to mind map what you think makes a great leader. Hopefully you will have identified some of the characteristics that have appeared in the Wordle of a great leader. When you were doing that, I'm sure you were probably thinking about some of the leaders you've come into contact with. That may have been a sports coach, it might have been a parent, a teacher. You might have even thought about when you've had to lead a group and some of the characteristics you've had to demonstrate when leading that group. Now that leads us on to nicely that when we're looking at these topics in psychology, we have what's called different theorists that have different approaches to each of the topic areas. And we're firstly going to look at leadership in terms of nature versus nurture. So in the first instance, a trait theorist would suggest that leaders are born and not made. That you are born a leader, it is innate, it is in your genes, which means it's passed on through generations, and you were basically born to be a leader. On the flip side of that, we have social learning theorists that think actually you become a leader over time through interaction with the environment and through observing others' behaviour, and that helps you to develop your leadership characteristics. And then we have a different set of theorists who believe actually it's most likely to be a combination of the two, and we call them interactionist theorists. So we've basically got three key theories here: trait theory, social learning theory, and interactionist theory. So trait theory, you're a born leader, it's nature. Social learning theory, nurture, you learn to be a leader. And interactionist theorists that think actually it's a combination of the two. And those three approaches will crop up throughout our psychology topics, and we'll hear about those theories in different things we look at. It might be aggression, it might be anxiety, and so on. What I want you to do now is have a think about what you think, because in psychology we often base what we think and we give an opinion, and then we back it up with the evidence that's there and the theories that are in place to support what we think is right or what's happening. So do you think leaders are born? Do you think they are made? Or do you think it is a combination of both? And then that leads us on to different leadership styles. So we've got lots of different sports coaches, managers, captains, players that participate in sports, and they all might adapt a different leadership style depending on the situation. Now, the 3 leadership styles we need to look at in more detail, and this is actually part of your summer homework tasks in your transition booklet, we're going to look at autocratic leadership style, democratic leadership style, and laissez-faire leadership style. So the first thing probably to do is try and unpick the word and understand what that means. So an autocratic style means the leader is authoritarian and very much takes the lead, makes all the decisions, and the participants just have to kind of get on with it. This type of leadership does have value, is often used with beginners who don't have much knowledge and understanding or who haven't developed the skill level yet. Often used when there's large groups and you're leading a large group, or in high-risk situations where the control needs to be very clear to keep everyone safe. The next style, democratic leadership style, this is more where the participants in the group, so if we have a democracy, participants in the group all have an opinion on the decision and are allowed to input into the decision. So a captain of a team might use a democratic leadership style. The last style, laissez-faire, which is used less but still has value when used in sport. So we might use laissez-faire style with more elite athlete, so a more established athlete who the coach might set them a training program and they can kind of get on with that training program without needing lots of input from the leader. So what I want you to think about now and go away and research is different leadership styles. Who might use those leadership styles? Explain to me where those leadership styles are most effective in sport. Give me some examples from sport where you have seen those leadership styles used or where you think they would be very effective. As I said at the start, component 2 is divided into 2 topic areas. So we've had a bit of an insight into the psychology of sport topic area. We're now going to look at the skill acquisition topic area. And that really is what it says on the tin. It's about how we acquire skills and how we learn skills, how we develop skills, and then store them in our long-term memory so that we can draw upon them and use them in different situations. Now, we're all born with ability, so without really thinking about it, we learn to crawl, then walk, then run. There are natural abilities, but skills, we actually have to learn them and develop them into skillful movement. So a skill is defined as a learned ability to bring about predetermined results with maximum certainty and efficiency. And when we're looking at a performance or when we're developing a skill, we're trying to make that a skillful movement. And leg fact can help us to remember what we're looking for when we're looking at a performance and we're looking for skillful movement. So some of the characteristics you might be looking for are, has it been learned well? Is it efficient? Does it look effortless? Is it aesthetically pleasing, which means it looks good on the eye? They're all characteristics that will make up the skillful movement that we are trying to achieve, the ideal model, let's say. And what you're going to do for your summer test for skill acquisition is you're going to look at different movement skills and you are going to classify them onto what we call skill continuum. So you'll take a skill, for example, something like a tennis serve, and then you'll classify that skill using a skill continuum. On the next slide, I've put a little video that will help you to understand the different skill continuums and how we can classify these skills to help us learn the skills and identify what type of skills they are. So I know you will have received the transition booklet from Mrs. Rose with all the summer tasks in. The next few slides just go over the summer tasks that are related to what we talked about today. And so hopefully having them in the presentation and be able to refer to the videos and slides for support will help you to be able to complete those tasks. But please, if you do need any support with that, don't hesitate to email me, ahunt@clcc.college. I hope today's given you an insight into component 2. For any of you that are thinking about combining PE and psychology, there'll definitely be some overlap with some of the material that we look at. Please feel free to go through the bullet points earlier on in the presentation. Start looking and reading around some of the subject areas ready for next year. I hope you're all keeping really safe and well at these really unusual times, and hopefully we'll be back to school in September in a bit more normal circumstances. I'm really looking forward to teaching you all, and I can't wait to see you all in the new academic year. Take care, stay safe, and I'll see you in September.